Hello, today I want to tell you a little story about how I came to make a tiny game. I'm not a technical person, I'm more of an artist, but I always wanted to make games and it took me a long time. I bashed my head for years against the Google search bar and YouTube tutorials before I was able to code efficiently. But now I know how to code pretty well. The only thing that bothers me now is that despite having the skills to make games, I haven't managed to make that many. For some reason, I keep starting new projects and abandoning them all the time. The pile is pretty big. This is frustrating, so I set myself a little challenge lately to make a tiny game and finish it. And this is how it went. I'll start a little bit from the beginning, how I got the idea. So I play a lot of Tetris, at least a couple of times per week. I play specifically Tetris DS, Tetris 99, and on occasion Tetris Effect. Recently I also got into Mixolumia, a falling block puzzler with super chill vibes and a nice simple game mechanic. Because of this I felt inspired to make a similar type of game, something where blocks fall from above. So I made this sketch and I fired up Unity and started prototyping. I love physics and it's basically free movement if you're using Unity, so I just went with that. In this first version you combine numbered blocks by drawing lines between them, and the different colors have different effects. I thought it would be cool if the blocks had a sort of rock, paper, scissors dynamic. So here you can see that the blue blocks are filled with water, and when they break, they start to fill the stage with water, which you can soak up using the yellow sponge blocks. I couldn't think of a third type of block though, so the rock, paper, scissors idea didn't really go as planned. But I found this pretty tedious to play, actually. It was just too much going on all the time and it didn't make the core of the game work. Or maybe I just didn't have the patience to actually make it work, so I tried to simplify the core of the game a bit. I did that by removing the special block abilities and tried to make it a little bit simpler. If you combine 4 blocks, they just disappear and add to your score. If you combine 5, they explode and destroy all the same color blocks within range. If you combine 6, they make a red explosion, which is the only way to destroy these red blocks, aside from clicking on these bombs. The game worked fine, like it was playable, I had fun. I could play the game myself for a while. I die, I restart. Okay, this is probably good enough. So I sent it to a friend of mine, actually a couple of friends, and they thought I had my account hacked. There was a scam on Discord where people's accounts got hacked and yeah, either way. I got feedback on it from my friend. You just combine blocks. It was just a game of drawing a line between identical objects as quickly as possible. It didn't require much thinking. There was no progression. The blocks just kept falling faster and faster and you just had to draw the line faster and faster. My friend told me that it would be cool if you could draw a line over several objects at once to be more efficient, or to see a pattern, to like draw a long pattern between them. It sounds nice. But I didn't listen to this. Big mistake. Instead I tried to make the game better by essentially making it a different game altogether. I basically tried to make it into 3 different games. And none of them felt as good as what I had done in the beginning. I didn't know what to do. Then I talked to a very wise person about this and came to the conclusion that I should just return to the original idea and see if there's anything small I could do to feel better about the way it's played. And I ended up making it so you could combine several blocks at once by drawing a line over them. It worked. After that, the rest fell into place pretty quickly. I made some nicer graphics and found that it's actually more fun when there are more shapes and sizes of objects. That's right. That's no programming. That's just like make objects with different shapes and colliders. This is what the game looks like now. I call it plock. It's a fitting word because of what it means in Swedish. It also sounds a lot like block, which is nice, even though there aren't a lot of blocks in the game anymore. I don't expect a lot of people to play this. I know it's very hard to make people interested in playing these types of games because there's just not a whole lot of reasons to talk about them and spread the word. Usually the making of these kinds of falling block puzzlers are more interesting to talk about than the game itself, although it could possibly make a decent mobile game. Let me know in the comments if you would play this on mobile. This project was just meant as practice and it worked well as a learning experience, and I do feel like I learned a few things by making it. Make the simplest possible version of the game I could add all the bells and whistles right away, settings, menus, leaderboards, rewards, longer progression and extra gameplay variation, but I decided not to do that. I decided to only add those things if people would actually show interest in it, and we'll see what happens, I guess. And stick to the original idea or scrap it completely. There were some design flaws in the initial version to the core, and that really bothered me, and I tried to fix those flaws by changing the core of the game 3 times. I could have finished the project much faster if I would have had a better mindset. Going forward, I think I will just stick to the original idea unless I'm more excited about a new direction. And then finishing feels good. It feels damn good to call something finished and sharing it, as opposed to letting it become a dusty file on my computer. Yeah, that's it. I'm so glad I went through with this and honed my skill of finishing things up a little bit, because that's a skill in itself. I guess no skill is really that useful. You can have the most amazing skill in the world, but if you don't have the skill of finishing stuff, then you might as well have no other skills at all, right? You can pluck the game up for free on itch.io right now if you wanna give it a look and tell me how buggy it is. There's a link in the description. Thanks for watching.